and for having me. Sorry about that. Sorry about the delay. I'm happy to be here. Um, so today I want to talk about mistakes that entrepreneurs make when starting a business, right? In addition to that, we're going to be going over how to launch a credible business, launching a credible business, and be better positioned for funding, okay? Because that's key when you're trying to grow a business or scale a business, right? So, if you are looking to, let's say, start a business, build solid business credit, acquire business funding or funding to grow your business, or you're tired of, commingling using your personal credit for your business, and you want to launch a credible business, you're in the right place. So we're going to go over all of those things today. Okay. All right. Now, I want to ask though, are any of you guys, I want to know who in here already has a business or you plan on starting one in the near future? Laura, okay.
I have one and I'm starting another one.
Okay, awesome. Okay, great. All right, so just to give you guys a rundown about me, I don't love talking about myself, but I'm sure you all will, would appreciate if I gave you guys a little bit about my background, where I started and why I'm here talking about business credit, business credibility, right? So I'm Shenice Bryant, but also known as Shibivia legally, and I help entrepreneurs build credible businesses and be better positioned for funding. Okay, alongside that, build solid business credit. Um, Now, I started out, oh, and also I am a business funding strategist and a business specialist. Okay, so I started out in the financial space around 2014 to, well, I did that for about 5 years. So between 2014 to about 2019, I worked in the financial industry and I worked closely with like VPs of lending, underwriters, business developers, you know, business development in the business development department, I should say. And while being in that field, I saw firsthand, a lot of small businesses who would come in and, try to apply for funding. And most of the time, they would get denied, right? So if you guys don't know the statistics, in actuality, about 80% to about, or higher than that actually, to about 90 something percent of businesses gets denied for funding. Okay, it's just how it is. That's not just me making stuff up or just from my experience, but it's just statistics. It's just facts, and uh, there are a lot of reasons why, which we will get into some of the reasons later on, and some of the things that you want to make sure that you are doing to set yourself up for success. Okay. Addition to that, thank God for the alternative lending industry, okay, which I am also a part of. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to dive into that field uh, after I transitioned, from the traditional financial industry, and I decided, hey, I want to do something a little bit more exciting and all of that. So I joined the United States Air Force, and then I became a flight attendant. Right, and so I did that for a few years, and I resigned from being a flight attendant in 2022. It was my time, but I resigned because I wanted to just live life on my own terms. And I'm sure a lot of you in here, especially if you are business owners or you plan on launching a business, I'm sure that's probably one of your reasoning, right? Is because you don't want to always clock in to a 9 to 5 job. So I was one of those. And so here now I am, helping entrepreneurs with their business. I've been featured in like the Business Insider, Fox 5, Digital Journal, and some other places. And now I partner with like some of the leading lenders in the industry to help businesses be better positioned for funding and acquire funding for their business. I've also partnered with companies like Dun& Bradstreet, who we'll talk about that a little bit further, and you'll understand why that's so important. Who Dun& Bradstreet is, they are one of the world's leading suppliers of business information and research. So I'm happy to have been able to partner with them. And I also now run my own lending brokerage. All right, so enough about me. I think I asked you guys already who here plans on starting a business, but I want to know as well. Feel free to share. You don't have to share. That's okay. But let me know if what is the most exciting thing, the most exciting and maybe, the most, scary thing about starting a business. If anybody wants to share, what are you most excited about, and what are you most afraid of? Okay, so I see Jessica's hand. I see.
Okay,
Oh, I don't know if that was. I don't know if that was from earlier.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You said most exciting thing about starting when I started a business and most scary thing.
Well, either or. But if you want to share
Either or.
both, that would be great. Yeah, either or though.
I'll stick with most scary. Most scary was Uncle Sam and the IRS and
Okay.
the rules and making sure that I set my business up correctly so nothing came back to me during tax time, that I'm keeping track of all of my receipts, what was going in and out, and kind of also learning as I'm going on structuring and how to organize myself differently. So everything was in a category as far as like, again, like receipts and things like that. I think that was probably not really scary because you do it in your real life, but you don't want to mess up on this either. So I think more so that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm happy you mentioned that because later on we're going to be talking about somewhat business structure that can probably help you. So happy you mentioned that. Anybody else wanted to share?
Hello.
Hi, Tess. Hello.
I think I have the same fear or the most scary as Jessica with the finances. Building a good foundation for my business is most important, and having a foundation that I can live off of eventually. Like, I'm trying to separate from my full-time job and work my business full-time, and eventually not have to work my business, have somebody work it for me. So just building that foundation and establishing good credit and maintaining that, making sure all my I's are dotted and T's are crossed is the scariest thing. And the most exciting is being able to live life on my own terms. Like, even though I'm starting it by myself and doing most of the footwork, it's still exciting to not have to punch a clock and to be something that I enjoy doing every day. Not that I don't enjoy my job, it's just the politics behind working for somebody else is what I don't enjoy.
Trust me, I understand. Thanks for sharing that, Tess. Awesome. Well, I'm happy that you shared that as well because, like I said, I'm going to be sharing some of some of the things that can help you set your business up for success. Okay? Because, we don't want to mess with the IRS. All right? Okay, so let's first establish what business credit is, right? So business credit is essentially, it's separate from your personal credit. Okay, it's a set of scores for your business, independent of your personal credit. It reflects your company's trustworthiness in handling financial obligations like personal credit. Just like personal credit. Okay. And so business credit or good business credit allows you to unlock a lot of benefits. for your companies, from loan approvals, from not having to really personally guarantee loans, but we'll talk about that a little bit, because starting out, there's a very high chance that you're going to have to personally guarantee loans, right? A lot of business owners run away from having to personally guarantee loans, but the truth is, as a newer business, you may have to, and that's just how it is, okay? But it allows you to benefit from better loan rates, okay? Better vendor terms, which we'll talk about later on. Vendors are basically suppliers where you can pay them on a net 30 basis, okay? That can help you build business credit, better insurance premiums, and you just overall build trust and credibility with business credit. So when creditors or lenders look at your business profile, they see, okay, this business is trustworthy, they are credible, they have borrowed before, they know how to pay, they pay back their stuff on time, right? And so you'll have better loan terms when you have solid business credit established. All right, so that's what business credit is. Now, really quickly, we're going to talk about how business credit is established. So with establishing business credit, right, it starts by obtaining, and after we talk about this, we're going to go into the steps prior to this. But how business credit is established, you want to first obtain what is called your Dun & Bradstreet number. I talked about Dun & Bradstreet a little bit earlier, but Dun & Bradstreet is, every single business owner should have Dun & Bradstreet, okay? It's your unique identifier number. This is what establishes the existence of your business globally. All right, so if you go to lease an equipment for your business, vehicle, sometimes lease a building, take out loans, most lenders, creditors, business partners, they're going to ask you for your Dun & Bradstreet number. So that's first things first, right? You need a Dun & Bradstreet number. In fact, some grant programs as well. There are some grant programs that will actually ask you for your Dun & Bradstreet number. So immediately, as soon as you start a business, you get incorporated and all of that, go and get your Dun & Bradstreet number. It is free to get. You can just go to dunandbradstreet.com and you can get this number. It may take a while to get it back, maybe between 2 weeks to 60 days or something like that. However, you can have it expedited, but you have to pay for it expedited, okay? But you need this Dun & Bradstreet number. It's going to help you establish what is called a paydex score, right? So your paydex score ranges from anywhere between 80 to 100. Not 80 to 100, but 80 to 100 is what is considered excellent. Okay, so it's from 0 to 100. So first things first, you want to get your Dun & Bradstreet number, and you want to start building trade credit, right? You want to pay invoices to vendors on time. So vendors meaning for example, if you're a business owner and you typically order supplies, instead of just ordering supplies straight from the business bank account or from your personal account or personal card or debit card, sign up with a supplier, let's say a Staples or something, right? And sign up for their net term, like their net 30 or their net 60. What this allows you to do is you get to receive the goods and then you pay them back for the goods 30 days after you order the goods, okay? But you have to make sure that you're paying them back on time. So that's what vendor trade credit, that's what that is. And that's how you'll establish it, okay? You can also establish business credit with business credit cards and loans, all right? So credit cards, you can use companies such as American Express, Chase. We may talk a little bit more about that later on, but traditional credit cards and loans. Also, one thing that you must do though, before you, let's say, sign up with a supplier on a net 30 basis or apply for a business credit card or a business loan, confirm where they are reporting. So, first things first, there are three major business reporting agencies. Okay, there's Dun& Bradstreet, one of the largest ones, as we talked about before. There's Experian Business, and there's Equifax Business. Okay, so you want to confirm that they're reporting to these. They don't have to report to all three, but they must report to at least one of them. Okay, it's a bonus if you can get it to apply to report to all three, but at least one of them. All right, so again, business credit is completely separate from personal credit. And it's so important to establish business credit, you guys, because it gives you access to so much more than what your personal credit could ever give you access to. That's why business credit is so important. And I had a client one time that her concern with business credit was that it's going to put you, or she was concerned that it was going to put her into debt. But business credit does not necessarily mean debt. Okay, if you're managing it well, just like how you would want to manage your personal credit, it's the same thing. You, again, sign up with vendors or, creditors, and you pay your stuff back, right? So it's not necessarily saying, oh, you're going to get into debt because you have business credit. It's just a way of establishing credibility. Okay, when you go to apply for loans, like I said earlier, there are some loan programs where if you have a strong business credit profile, you won't need to establish, or you won't need to personally guarantee loans. When you go to apply for, let's say, a car loan at a dealership, there are some dealerships that offer business financing or business leasing, right? And you'll be able to do that without any personal guarantee if you have like a strong business credit profile. If not, you may just have to also personally guarantee that. And like I said before, with starting out, you just may have to personally guarantee stuff. And that's okay, all right? Because there are some lenders who they will look at your personal credit report, but they won't necessarily report that loan or that trade line on your personal credit report unless you default. Okay, so that's key to know. You just have to know what lenders. Okay, now let's talk about before you start building business credit. You obviously must first launch a business, right? And for any of you who are in here who have not yet launched a business, perfect, because now you're going to get the steps, okay, to do that the right way. And even if you have already launched a business, that's okay, right? We can still correct some stuff. So whatever you know about or think you know about launching a credible business or building business credit, did I say, I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but make sure that you're taking notes. Try to take notes as much as possible, all right, because we're going to go over quite a bit today. Not too much, but quite a bit, all right? So with launching a credible business, first things first, you want to think about address, phone number, email, stuff like that. Now, I know it sounds trivial, it sounds basic, but sometimes we have to go back to basics, okay? You want to make sure that your contacts are in order. When it comes to your address, the reason why we're starting with the address, figuring out where your business is going to be located, whether or not you plan on having an at-home business, the reason why this is so important is because when you go to actually incorporate, they're going to ask you for what address, what's the address for the business, okay? And so if you put your personal address, because you're telling yourself, oh well, I don't really have the business address yet, so let me just put my personal address. Guess what's going to happen? That address is going to be public information. And do you really want your personal address to be public information? And do you really want to have to go back and do all the paperwork and do all that stuff, to file for the name, the business address to be changed when you figure that out? So when you're launching, just figure out what your address is going to be. If you have an online business, plan on having an online business or an at-home business, you don't have an actual brick and mortar location, that's fine. What you can do is you can get something called a virtual address. You can get like an Opus, Regis. I probably shouldn't mention Regis because not a big fan of them, but like Opus, you can get something like that. There are other ones. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to get mail sent there. You can have your mail forwarded, scanned to you. Some of these corporate offices or corporate buildings, you're able to also go there and work. Like a lot of these places have actual co-working space. So you can go there, you can have meetings. They have different plans if you want to be able to go 5 days out of the month and whatnot. So that's why it's strongly recommended to have a virtual address, because when you go to apply for a loan and the lenders pull up that, this is a residential address, it doesn't look that, credible, right? So as simple as that, just go get a virtual address, get a professional business phone number. It does not have to be an 800 number, but as long as it is established as, something separate from your personal phone. An email, professional email, okay? We're not doing good girl 123 or, good guy, anything like that, 234. You want to try to, for example, here, name at your business name.com, okay? Can be info, can be sales, can be customer service, can be support at yourbusinessname.com. How you get this done is you have to buy a domain, okay? You can go to GoDaddy, you can go to Namecheap, you can go to Dinodot. There's so many different places that you can go to buy a domain, and it's not expensive at all. It can run you anywhere between maybe $6 to maybe 20 something per year, okay, for the domain. And that's how you will be able to get that professional email address. I believe you can do it directly from Google as well. All right, so you want to do that. Additionally, you want to think about your registered agent. Now, if you use companies like, let's say a LegalZoom or InkFile, they do offer that service automatically, and you can opt into having a registered agent. You can be your own registered agent. Pretty much anybody can be your registered agent, but just make sure that whosoever you opt to be your registered agent, make sure that they will always be available between regular business hours every day. Because if a legal document is sent to you, I don't know, maybe let's say you're being sued or something, or the IRS have something for you, and they send it to the registered agent's address and nobody's there to receive it, you're automatically going to lose the lawsuit if you were in a lawsuit, okay? Because you didn't respond early enough and all of that jazz. So you want to make sure that you have a solid registered agent. Again, you can just pay for this service with whosoever you decide to sign up with, or whosoever you have filing your incorporation for you. Okay, so that's also, yeah, just make sure it's not like an old address or anything like that. All right.
There's a question in the chat, and is the co-working spaces similar to the gathering spot?
Oh, there's a chat. I should probably open the chat. Huh? You said gathering spot?
Yeah, she has it in quotation marks, the gathering spot.
I'm not sure what a gathering spot is. Is that a co-working space?
So the gathering spot is in multiple cities in the U.S. and it's pretty much where Black-owned co-workers, creators meet up to kind of handle business.
Okay.
And they market it to like entrepreneurs. So I didn't know if that would fall under like an address that could be used because people kind of instead of staying home to handle their business, they kind of go there and handle their business and also socialize.
Got it. Now, you would have to actually like register for it. So you wouldn't be able to just put that address there as your business address unless the company actually offers it. So I would go on their website and see if they have that service, because you want to be able to like receive mail, have things scanned to you. You want to make sure that they actually offer that service. So if you receive mail or a letter or anything like that, make sure that they're able to, their receptionist or whosoever is able to forward that package to you or scan you those documents. So you'd have to.
It's like a membership, I think.
Okay.
I've seen it advertised before, but
Mhm.
again, I was like working at the bedside, so I didn't have a need for it.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe that would fall under there.
Definitely research it. You just have to go on their website or maybe call them really quickly and see if they offer a virtual address. Okay. Awesome. All right. So incorporating. Now, this is a big one because, yes, I know it's easy to just do business underneath your personal name, right? Your social security, all of that. But you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself and you're separating your, personal stuff from your business stuff. Okay, you don't want to be personally liable for stuff. That's why it's so important to incorporate. Additionally, lenders and customers and partners will take you more seriously when you actually incorporate. So what does this look like? This looks like going to either the state.gov. You can do it yourself actually, or you can go to companies like 𝐒𝐿. Not promoting any one of these companies necessarily, but these are just companies that I'm familiar with that you can go to and have them file your state's incorporation for you. Now, 𝐒𝐿 is now known as Busy. They recently changed, and they do it for free actually. Okay, free except for the state filing fee. So if your state charges $200, they're going to charge you $200, and that's it. Unless you decide to, add on services. But as far as just like registering your business, they offer the service for free. You can have an attorney do it for you. There's also LegalZoom. So LegalZoom does this. They do charge though, regardless. So they do charge. And additionally, it is easier to do it, incorporate based on the state that you live in. So I know some people ask, okay, I live in, this state, Florida, can I incorporate in Delaware? Delaware has some type of tax breaks and stuff like that. Sure, but you may want to get what is called a foreign entity. You may want to file a foreign entity because you're also doing business you physically, as the business owner, you are physically located in Florida. Okay, you are doing business in Florida, so you will have to file for a foreign entity for Florida, as well as, let's say, Delaware, if you decided to do that. Okay, but let's say if you had a business partner in Delaware, there's a physical being, there's a physical person, a contact person in that state. You won't necessarily have to file a foreign entity. Okay. Annual reports, though, I wanted to throw this in here because that's so important. I've seen where people forget to file the annual report, and what happens is your LLC, if you decided to form an LLC, that gets basically dormant. Okay, you're basically unprotected at this point. You no longer have an LLC, so you want to make sure that you are filing your annual report. For the most part, you should get like a reminder every year saying, hey, it's time to file your annual report, and you just file it. Regardless of if you made money or not, you have to file this annual report. Okay. Now I have these notes here, but I don't want to really dive too much into the tax thing because I'm not a CPA or anything like that. This is just general, general tips. All right. I suggest you consult with a business attorney to figure out how you want to structure your business. Okay. But I can just give you an overview based on what the top CPAs suggest, right, and business attorneys suggest. So, for example, there's the LLC and there's corporations, right? Whether you're doing a partnership LLC, a single member LLC, there's a corporation. One of the benefits. Well, let me just start with the LLC. Okay, so with the regular LLC, it's considered like a disregarded entity if you just have like just say an LLC and you don't opt into, let's say, a tax structure. Okay, it sounds bad, but it's just how the IRS consider it a disregarded entity. You pay self-employment tax, which the rate is a bit high, honestly. So it's basically a flow-through entity, the LLC, kind of like a sole proprietor. It kind of functions the same. Then there's a C corporation, right? Gets taxed twice, actually. Owners and the business itself gets taxed. So that's kind of like a gist of what that looks like. Now, you can opt in. Let's say you decided to do an LLC, and the reason why I'll probably mention LLC a lot during this presentation is because an LLC is one of the simplest, easiest, way to incorporate a business, and it immediately protects you, the business owner, as a person from the business. Okay, it separates your liabilities. Okay, you're not personally liable. It's simple. So that's one of the common used. So let's say you decided to form an LLC. You can then file with the IRS to be, let's say, taxed as a C corporation. So C corporation is not necessarily a business structure. It's just a taxed classification, how you want to be taxed. The S corporation does have some benefits, honestly, with how you're being taxed, and I think that's why this tax classification is now so popular. But there are some things that you must know if you decide to be taxed as an S corporation, right? You must be on payroll. The IRS, they do require you to pay yourself a reasonable fraction. I won't go into specific numbers again because I'm not a CPA, and I'm not trying to get myself in trouble or anything like that, but just general guidelines. They require you to pay yourself a portion of your profit, and you sort of must be on payroll. Okay, also you want to only select to be taxed as an S corporation if, let's say, you make a certain amount. CPAs usually, or business CPAs and business attorneys generally suggest anywhere between like 40K to about like 60K per year. So if you're making that, then it would make sense, right? So that you can get those tax benefits. All right, but again, I strongly suggest consulting with a business attorney or a business CPA to figure out what is the best tax structure or the best classification for you. That is very important because everybody's business is different based on what you're doing and all of that. So it's better to consult with one, and it does not have to be expensive to start. It can save you a lot of money going forward. So I 100% recommend that you, especially as a business owner planning to grow, get a CPA. Okay, when you launch a business, start a business, or have several businesses, you're past the point where you are, going to H&R Block, honestly, or where you're just doing your own taxes. As a business owner, you want to make sure that you're consulting with the right people. So get a business attorney to help you with that. All right. So I hope that was clear. Also, there is a new law. I'm not sure if you guys heard about it, but just a few months ago, there's a new law. All right, so our reporting company created, let's say if you created your company or registered your business January 1st or before January 1st of 2024, you will have until January 1st of 2025 to file your BOI. Okay, I think that's business owner information or something like that report. They're trying to, cut down on, I guess, some certain frauds and stuff like that. So you have to now report this. But if you created or you registered your business in 2024, okay, you will have about 90 calendar days to file after receiving your actual public notice. Okay, and a reporting company created or registered on or after January 1st, 2025 will have 30 calendar days to file this BOI. Okay, and you can file this at fincen.gov. Okay, www.fincen.gov/BOI. Now there is a fine, y'all. I didn't put it in here, but there is a $500 per day fine if you don't file this. So yeah, so that's very important to note. All right. Okay, now on to other stuff. So your EIN. So you want to incorporate first, and then you get your EIN. It may be pointless for you to get your EIN first and then do your incorporation, because if you do this, if you get your EIN, IRS is not really checking for like if the business name is taken and all of that. So if you get an EIN, a number tied to your business name, and then you go incorporate, and then it comes back, where somebody else already has this, let's say trademark or business name, you're going to have to change it. Then you're going to have to go back and redo an EIN. I mean, it is pretty easy to get an EIN, but it just makes more sense to incorporate first and then get your EIN. It is free.com. Don't let anybody, try to charge you for an EIN, and you pretty much get it back the same day. Okay, so even the companies that I mentioned earlier that can help you incorporate, they may upsell you to do your EIN or file your EIN for you. Don't pay the extra money, okay? Just go to irs.gov and search for EIN, and you can get it back within 24 hours, okay? You can apply for it anytime between, Monday through Fridays, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. After that, there's a cutoff. You can't physically apply for it online. Even though it's online, you can apply for it between those times. Your operating agreement, I really wanted to throw this in here because this comes in handy sometimes when, let's say there are some lenders who may ask for your operating agreement. There are some banks, if you plan on opening a business bank account, which you must and you should, they may ask you for your operating agreement. Okay. Additionally, if you were to get sued, God forbid, it is business, things happen, they may ask you for your operating agreement, right? How is your business being ran? How are profits distributed? All of that is just a formality. You can get this sometimes if you incorporated with a company, like one of the companies that I mentioned earlier, they may offer that. Or you can probably just search for it online, get a template, and plug in your stuff. But it's nothing super, complicated. Or you can get an attorney to do this up for you. Okay, but you should be able to get like templates online. Again, we talked about the Dun & Bradstreet number. You absolutely should have this and should get it. It's free, and you can also expedite it. Also, a business bank account. Okay, let's talk about that because, it is 2024 and, I still see people just using their personal bank account for everything business. If you're trying to grow and try to scale your business and really want to take things seriously, you must get a business bank account. Believe it or not, there are some grant programs, there are some lenders who will not lend to you because you don't have a business bank account. All right, you absolutely want to separate your personal finances from the business. finances. It just makes things easier, and things are run smoother, right? When it comes to tax time, your CPA or your bookkeeper, whosoever you have helping you with that, it's just so much easier to pull from the business to figure out how much profit the business did and all of that jazz, bookkeeping and all of that. Talking about bookkeeping, I didn't have this here, but I strongly suggest having like a bookkeeping software. So you can use, a lot of people know QuickBooks, self-employed. I strongly recommend using Wave. I love using Wave actually. One of my previous CPAs actually suggested it, and I love using Wave. It is free, and it syncs all of your transactions. You can categorize stuff. You can do that on a weekly or monthly basis. So when tax time comes, okay, you're not running around trying to categorize every single transaction you did for the entire year. Okay, so I suggest using a bookkeeping software like Wave. Also, Wave allows you to pull like your profit and loss statement, your balance sheet, stuff like that. They automatically do that for you. So definitely want to have a bookkeeping software. Okay, payment processors. So you want to also use payment processors. Okay, we're not using Cash App, stuff like that for your business, or Cash App only, right? You want to have some type of payment processor, Stripe, Square, especially if you have like an on location type of business. You can sign up for Square. There's PayPal Business as well, and PayPal Business actually offers working capital. All right, so they don't go by necessarily like your credit score or anything like that. They mostly go by the history that you've had with them. But you have to have had the account for a while. The last time I checked, it was about maybe 3 or 6 months or so. Okay, so get a payment processor. It will come in handy, and you want somewhere that you can send your or receive payments from your customers or from your clients, right? So get a payment processor. Also, if you wanted to, let's say, send an invoice, let's say for a PayPal Business, it's so much more professional. You can create an invoice and send it to your client and receive payment that way. But make sure everything must hit your business bank account first. Okay, because there are some lenders also who, they want to see like the consistency of income or business revenue, stuff like that. It depends on the type of loan that you're doing. So make sure that it's hitting your business bank account first, and then sure, you can pay yourself after. And I don't think I have this here, but if you plan on paying yourself, you can sign up for a payroll system like Gusto, which I suggest Gusto. I personally use Gusto as well. Gusto is basically like an ADP, right? If you've ever had a W-2 job, you probably know who ADP is. But I'm not here again promoting any of those, especially not ADP. But I do like Gusto. Okay. I can leave a link for you guys if you want that. But use a payment processor or however you plan on paying yourself. If you want to start out by just writing yourself a check, at least it's a way that it can be tracked, right? Write yourself a check, pay yourself. Okay, we don't want every single thing. Yes, you and the business, you're not the same. All right, the business is a business, and you are you. All right, you don't want every single transaction. You go get your hair done, your nails done, everything. I've been guilty of that too in the past. All right, so I'm not here, trying to, sound like I'm perfect or anything like that. I have done that in the past, but that was a mistake. Okay, so you don't want to do that. Pay yourself, and then you use your personal account to go get your hair done and go get your nails done. Okay, next thing you want to do is you want to list your business in the 411 directory because you want to look credible. All right, this is going to help you to look credible, and you want to also list your business at least 5 places online. from Google. You can list your business on Google easily. Does not take long to do that. And other places. So whether that's social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, list your business other places. So let's talk about, well, let me know if you guys have any questions so far. Anybody has any questions?
I just want to highlight what you're saying. This is like a guide to establishing credibility. One of the things that we talked about while we were preparing for this was that business credit is really just establishing your business as a credible resource or something that's credible where your money can go. And so as she's going through this, I know it seems really technical. Take it one step at a time, and if you don't understand everything, if there's one thing you understand, just take that step. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, because I don't want anybody to feel overwhelmed by all of this. Don't feel like you have to go out tomorrow and apply everything that I'm saying, right? It's step by step, okay? And eventually you'll get to the place where you have all of these things, together, all right? Additionally, now building business credit, there are like tiers to building business credit. So there's the first tier is like you can apply with vendor accounts, which most times does not require you to use your personal information, right? Your personal social. You can just use your business EIN, your business information, and you can establish vendor credit. That's like the first tier. So these looks like net 30 accounts, net 60 accounts, and all of that, like we talked about earlier, like applying for or registering with suppliers. That's like the first tier of business credit. I mentioned this already, so I probably don't have to go over that, but I'll still go over that just to like reiterate what net 30 accounts are. They are accounts, they are credit accounts from suppliers that extend you 30 days to pay the bill in full after you purchase the product. All right, so you have 30 days or 60 days. There's some suppliers who offer net 60 accounts. All right, there's tier 2. So some of these are also vendor accounts, but they're with like companies who offer like business credit cards, like Sam's Club, Best Buy. For example, for Sam's Club, you can just walk into Sam's Club if you've had a business established for, let's say, 3 months. And however, though, you want to only apply for this card once you have established your paydex score. So we talked about that earlier. With when you're trying to build business credit, you want to sign up for Dun & Bradstreet because you're going to get your paydex number, and it's going to help you build your paydex score, right? And you want to apply for lenders or creditors or trade accounts that report to like Experian Business and Equifax, because those are the 3 major credit bureaus. Okay. Now, Sam's Club does require you to have at least an 80 paydex score before you like apply to them. So, you can apply to other vendors and creditors before applying to Sam's Club. But just for an example, okay, as an example, you can just walk into Sam's Club and go to the customer service desk and apply right then and there for a Sam's Club business credit line, and you can get approved on the spot. Okay, so that's kind of like what a tier 2 vendor credit looks like. And tier 3, these are more like commercial credit cards offered with national banks, or national banks like Chase Bank, American Express, Amex, Discover, Wells Fargo, Capital One. Those are like the tier 3. So I usually should suggest you can skip to the tier 3. So bear in mind, you do not have to go from tier 1 then tier 2 then tier 3. You can jump to tier 2, or you can jump to tier 3, especially if you have decent personal credit. Okay, they do require you to have decent personal credit to like get approved for like the tier 3 credit cards. Typically like 680 or higher, sometimes 640, depends on the creditor. But like 680 ideal and higher, you can just jump to the tier 3 and apply for these trade lines, okay, or these commercial creditors. So again, business credit, the purpose of this is to build trust and credibility with lenders, and you'll be able to apply for funding in the future. Now, not saying that if you don't have business credit, you can't apply for funding. You can absolutely 100% still apply for funding. But again, you're just going to have to leverage your personal credit more, and they may require you to have a higher personal score in order to acquire business funding. Okay, and I can speak for mostly the alternative lending industry. You know, you may have to leverage your personal credit a lot. All right. Any questions? Let me see the chat. I wasn't opening the chat.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's one.
somebody. Okay, I need to look at the chat. So, somebody said, "Dang, no more terrible texts." Okay. It's only free for the first year. What is? Okay. Shit. Let me just see. Somebody said they love Wave. Yeah, I absolutely love Wave. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Kimberly. Yeah, if you are stressed with keeping up the receipts, definitely get a payment processing, not a payment processing, but like a bookkeeping software, because some of these too, you can also just snap pictures. You can literally take pictures of the receipts and you can probably throw it away, right? Because it's, you know, saved to the cloud. So you'll be able to just take pictures and move on. Somebody asked, business credit card, should it be secured? Oh, business credit card, should it be secured? It does not have to, but it can be. If that's the way that you are going to start, then you can do that. Some people run away from that. They don't want to do the secured, but if that's the only way that you can get qualified for a business line, I say do that, because usually what happens with secured lines is that eventually you may get an upgrade, right? Eventually, once you're paying things on time and all of that, eventually you can graduate from the secured credit card to a regular unsecured line. So it can be either or. It still gets reported. So that's a great question. Awesome. Any other questions before we move on to the next section? Shouldn't be much longer from here. Okay. All right. So we talked about the fact that you can be eligible for business credit even if you haven't really established. Well, yeah, you can be eligible for business loans, okay, and business credit, even if you have not really established your business credit yet. But it's strongly recommended to start the process ASAP. You can literally build solid business credit in less than 90 days, right? I've had clients who, you know, once you follow the steps, and this pretty much here, you know, is that for the most part. And I've had clients who were able to establish their PAYDEX score, their Experian business score, Equifax scores in less than 90 days. So you can 100% do this in a very short period of time. It just takes intentionality, right? It depends on how quickly you want to establish this. And then if there's no rush for you, you don't have to rush the process. But just make sure that that's your goal to, you know, eventually build some business credit. Now you can access up to like $100,000 to like $125,000 in business funding, even as a new LLC. Okay, and I'm going to share with you a little bit how you may be able to do that. It's some requirements, but it is possible. Okay, especially the program that I want to talk about today is the syndicated line of credit. All right, and you can acquire funding even as a new LLC or a new business owner. Yes, there is there are SBA programs as well. SBA programs tend to take a little bit longer, but you can still do that. And SBA loans they're pretty much backed by the government. So there's quite a few institutions, national banks, traditional banks, and non-traditional lenders who do offer SBA loans, and they're backed by the government. that's why it takes a little bit longer to do. And there are other programs, in particular the syndicated line of credit program is what I want to talk about. But you have to leverage your personal credit for that. So, for example, with the syndicated line of credit program, so your credit score must be at least 680 or higher. And so this is for those of you who, let's say you're planning on starting a business and you want some startup capital, or you recently launched a business, or your business is pretty new and you don't have a lot of business history. That's fine too. You may be eligible for this program. So your credit score though must be like at least 680. You can get funding anywhere between like 1,000 to 100 and up to 125K as well. The average is about 50K. But you must have no outstanding charge-offs, right, like collections, stuff like that, and just have like a great payment history, and at least a year of individual personal credit. Now with this, they require that you don't have a lot of hard inquiries, okay, especially within the last 6 months. So if you've had a lot of inquiries in the past 6 months, I suggest to hold off from applying. All right, and so once the time has passed, or the inquiries fall off, or you were able to dispute those inquiries and have them come off, then you can apply. There's no time in business required, all right, and there's no revenue requirements. So unlike some loans that do require some type of revenue, this one does not, because it's ideal for startups, and there's no restricted industry. All right, so I know that some of you guys here are in the CBD, right? CBD business, if I'm not mistaken. So there are some lenders, I say this to say that because there are some lenders who will not lend to certain industries. There are some industries that are simply considered high-risk industries. All right, so CBD for some lenders may be considered high risk, like the trucking industry or gambling or alcohol, or there's just some industries that are considered high risk. All right, but this program, we work with lenders who fund it all, and there are term loan options available as well. And the process is pretty simple. It's a soft inquiry for pre-approval. All right, so it's not like a hard inquiry. And then once, if you are pre-approved and you agree to proceed with the program and all of that, then there may be a hard pull then. Okay, so that's one thing to note. All right, but the approval process is pretty quick once you do everything on your end as well. It can, you can be funded in as little as like 3 days, 7 days, but that all depends on how quickly you're getting stuff over as well. Okay, so that's like one program that you can consider if you have, let's say a clean credit profile. Okay, if you're looking for like 100K, 125K. Now you can combine business credit cards, right? People do this all the time. I guess, they call it credit card stacking, really, where if you get approved for this credit card, let's say 10K, 15K, 25K, you can get a few credit cards that are like 25K, and that may be able to get you there. Okay, but you want to keep in mind the credit card companies that you're applying with and what their rules are with how many times you can apply with them and all of that. Okay, all right, and so here, if you do meet the qualifications for this type of loan program, the syndicated loan program, line of credit program, then you can apply here. By the way, if I'll see if I can probably leave the link in the chat as well, where you can, if you guys want a copy of this, okay, so if you guys want a copy of kind of like the notes that we talked about today, with all the links and all the information, I'll be happy to share it with you. I'll share the link with you, okay? So you can have all of this in your notes, okay? Does anybody have any questions? Oh, additionally, the benefit of a line of credit. So why the line of credit or lines of credit, business lines of credit are so good is because you can get, and let me say this, sometimes I go a little bit off track, okay? I have so much things to say, but it's so much better to, you want to be prepared, right? You want to be prepared. You want to get the funding before you actually need the funding, all right? So you don't want to wait until like you're in dire need or anything like that, or you're in this situation and then now you're scrambling to get yourself set up for success. Okay, you want to at least know or have your eyes on where you can go for funding, what do you need, what are the requirements, so that you can start preparing yourself and set yourself up for success. So when that time comes, you can just snap your fingers and you can get funding because you've already been preparing yourself, or you got the funding, right? You got the funding early before you even need it. That's why the lines of credit are so beneficial. So with lines of credit, you can just transfer the money to like your bank account. You can use it for, and I did not mention this earlier too, what you can use funding for, right? To run payroll, to pay staff. Like sometimes we burn ourselves out as small business owners or just business owners in general, right? With trying to do everything. Like when you just start out, it's okay to, you're going to be everything. You're going to be the cleaner, the admin assistant, the virtual assistant, the secretary, the everybody, right? You're everything. But there has to come a point where you're hiring some type of help, you're outsourcing something or some things because you're going to get so burnt out, and then you're going to find yourself doing these small things that, yes, they somewhat contribute to your income, but you want to focus on income producing activities, okay? IPAs, you want to focus on income producing activities. All the other activities, you can get somebody else to do it, right? Get a virtual assistant to do stuff for you, admin or somebody, right? So this is very important to do and to think about. I know we want to save some money and all this, or I know, you want to pay off these things, but once you start getting income coming in, start putting aside funds for to reinvest back into your business so that you can free up your time as a business owner, okay, and not burn yourself out. Don't be afraid to do that. If it means sometimes hiring a cleaner every now and then, so that you can focus on, getting some more clients, getting some more customers, focus on your sweet spot, your genius zone, right? That's why it's so important to hire help, to outsource. So don't be afraid to do that. And that's where business funding comes in. That's why business funding is so important, because it allows you to do that. Now, with a line of credit, the beautiful thing about lines of credit is that you aren't paying interest back on everything. So let's say you took out a 70,000 or 100,000 line of credit. You're not paying back the 70,000 or the 100,000 unless you actually used it. So you can transfer the money to your business bank account, and whatever you transfer or whatever you use, that's what you'll be paying interest on. It's similar to like how credit cards work, right? Very similar. But with credit cards, if you do a cash advance, there's like an additional fee, right? Cash advance fee, stuff like that. So that's why business lines of credit are so beneficial to businesses. You just take the money out as you need it, and you pay the interest back only on that. All right. So definitely don't sleep on hiring help. I know we're talking about business credit here and business credibility, but I'm really passionate about that. The overall just being a business that you want to be able to sustain, right? So you want to make sure that you're not burning yourself out. So just make sure that you, if you can, plan on hiring some help. Okay? Does anybody have any questions? Let me see if there was some additional questions. Somebody said they're typing so fast. Okay, I will link the, let me link the, I think that's pretty much it though that I have. I'll link the link to where you can have this overview like downloaded.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I
Yeah,
wanted to
absolutely.
say that the last point about getting help for your business, I think that's one area that a lot of nurses specifically struggle with, because we feel like we're supposed to be able to do everything, and then we feel like we're going to do it perfect or we're going to do it better. But at the end of the day, as soon as you find some help, they always do it better than you, and they do it more efficiently. So definitely don't sleep on that last statement. Like, if you didn't get nothing out of this talk, even if you're not trying to find capital or anything like that, like definitely feel okay with outsourcing tasks.
Absolutely. I feel the same way too. I can be type A, and trust me, I feel like can do everything and I can do it better, but there had to be a point where I was just like, okay, I can't do all of this. So yeah.
But yes, I really appreciate this. Does anybody have any final? I know we went over.
I see some. Okay. In Canvas, what are your thoughts on using MDA for funding? Forcing them to not only offer funding. MBDA. What is that? That's not merchant cash advance. I'm not sure about what can you expand on that if you're able to? I don't know if Jalissa is still here.
It's the Minority Business Development Agency.
Okay, gotcha. They're forcing them not to only offer. Oh, you said they're okay. I'm not so sure. I'm gonna have to look into that. Sorry, I don't have the answers for that, Jalissa. Okay. So it's okay. Yeah, we all make mistakes in business. Like it's a learning process. Like you'll never know everything. Like I don't know everything. Like I'm still learning things. So it's okay. You evolve, you learn, you grow. The most important thing is that you're taking the steps to learn what you need to learn. That's going to be beneficial for you. So don't beat yourself up, show yourself grace, because there's no way we can know everything. All right. But now you know. You didn't know it in 2019. That's fine. But now you know. Okay. Let's see. There was another question. Oh, Jalissa says she's starting a cleaning business. Awesome. I know a lot of people in the cleaning business. Laundry service. And you have a VA. Okay, awesome. I'm sure you can attest to having a VA makes life so much easier, right? Okay. Kimberly says she knows more today than she did yesterday. I'm happy to have been able to share. And like I said, I did say, let me see if I can send you guys the link. Oh man. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'll find the link to where you guys can download this if you guys want it, okay? Okay, let me just stop sharing my screen. But in the meantime, any other questions, you guys? This was fun. Let me find the link for that. Let me put that in the chat so you guys can have everything. I stopped sharing my screen, right?
Yeah.
Recording stopped.
up. Okay, here it is. I found it. Oh, also, I forgot to mention as well. So, if you guys are looking for, if you need help with that, maybe launching your business, building business credit, feel free to, you can book a free consultation with me. We can see where you're at, right? I'll see where you're at, and how we can help you, or how I can help you, how we can possibly work together if it's a good fit. So you can feel free to book a free call with me. It's going to be around like 30 minutes or so. I'll leave that link in the chat as well. So I'm leaving, the first link is where you can get the guide, or this kit, or the notes that we talked about earlier. Let me just put that in the chat. And I'll also put the link to, if you wanted to book a call with me. All right. And any final questions, you guys?
No, ma'am, I think that's it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming to talk to us today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you guys. Thanks for having me. Have a great night.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, I think I exited. Let's see. What's your idea? Okay, guys. So I was just on a Zoom call, actually, a live Zoom call. So now I can kind of like interact with you guys over here. I've been on here for like over an hour. Oh my goodness. Somebody asked, what's your idea about using a virtual address for your LLC, especially when you're planning to